Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would continue with my quilt, part 5 I'm sure it is. So we're going to put all the squares into a row and also 2 rows together, and then I'll continue off camera, otherwise it would be a super duper long video. So let's get started. Just pull the camera down a wee bit. There we go. So this is row 1, all the squares, and it's 5 across and 5 down. So altogether it's 25 10-inch squares to put together. Put that aside there. So this is the first top left. Now join that one onto the second. There we go. If you can hear a dog barking, that's my big dog barking in the distance. Pop it all in. That's why I like to open all my seams up as I go. It's a lot easier to slot it in and you get a nicer finish that way, I think. A flatter finish even. There we go. Pin in place, and then we'll go down a quarter inch seam allowance. I'll just swap you over to the sewing machine. There we are. A bit closer, I think. I'm just going to put it into quarter inch there. There we go, everything's in place. I still like to back stitch at the beginning and end. Take your pins out as you go. There we are. It's joined up nicely. The wee bits. We'll just take it to my wee pressing mat and give it a quick press before we do the second. There we go. Turn it that way. Give it a good press, lots of steam. Oh, oh. These are great wee irons, these, for projects like this. I haven't used this one in a wee while actually. There we are. That's sitting lovely. Now on to the third, sorry. And it gets to this stage in a quilt and I always think to myself, that's where I start to think, what colour of backing and what kind of binding. Should I keep it plain or keep a wee pattern going through it at the front? I think that would be nice. Oh, food for thought, food for thought. And back over to the sewing machine. 1/4 inch straight down. Don't forget to take your pins out as you go. Especially these lovely wee novelty pins. Don't want to break any of them. There we go. Let's see how that's lined up. Lovely. There we go. Lining up rather nice. Back to the iron board we go. What's this theme? Good press. I like to do each square as we go along, as instead of having loads of seams to open up, iron out at the end. Doesn't really seem like a chore then, does it? Not that it ever does. Anyway, right, so that's the third on. And we put our fourth square. Nearly finished our first row already. Open up the seam, line them up nicely. There we go. Pin in place. And back over to the sewing machine. Here we go. Nearly. Oh! And back to our iron board. Nice and flat, looking lovely. Last 10-inch square for the first row. Last one, take it back to the sewing machine. 1/4 inch square, 1/4 inch seam allowance. And back to this iron board, another quick seam open. So there we have it, that's row 1, looking lovely. Oh, there we are. There we are. I'll just put that up at the top of my desk just now until we've got the second, putting the second row put together. I always like to label them so it doesn't get mixed up if your wee kitten or your dog comes in and flicks it off the table. There we go, so set that up the top. Lovely. Now on to row 2. Put that aside. This is the second row to the left. And then just turn that over. Top of that one. And there's no seam allowance on this one, so just make sure all the edges are lined up, the sides and the top. That looks quite nice. I'll still stick a wee pin or two in it though, so it doesn't move as we sew. And back over to the sewing machine. Again, a 1/4 inch seam allowance all throughout the quilt. Give it a quick press. I'm loving the colours, this colour scheme, really nice. Don't know if anybody else out there prefers to open up the seams as they go, or they like to just put it over to one side. It'd be interesting to know who prefers what when they're quilting. but I certainly like to open up the seams. I always feel as if it gives you a flatter front facing when you're quilting. On to the third. There we are. And this one again, no need to line up, but just make sure everything fits in place. That's, oh no, actually. Interesting. I wonder. Yep. That nearly caught me out there. So I think what we should do is line up the top. So whenever we're putting the rows together. Oh, sorry, I'll put that down. There we go. Rather than down the side to join up the seams. It's good to actually sew when we're putting the rows together. That's going to be joined up properly. That nearly slipped past me there. That's fine. So it doesn't slip whenever I'm sewing down the side. That'll make sense whenever you're putting the first row into the second row and all the wee bits join up. Yep. There we go. I wonder if I should pin the bottom as well, or in fact, you know what I'll do is I'm going to pin this one so it doesn't slip. That one and that one, yeah. Oh, nice. That one in the end. There we are. Got there. We'll go back to the sewing machine, put this together. Right. I hope that makes sense. It's just made sense to me there. There we go. I'll put that there. Join it up. And there we are. I'm happy with that bit. Let me join that up a wee bit better. There. Done. Excuse me. That wee bit's a bit longer. That's alright. That will just disappear whenever we put the rows together. All even itself out. Yeah. Pins out. Looking lovely. Don't know how this happens. Wee bits of threads getting caught up in the middle. There we go. There's another one. honestly. Yeah, right. Another wee bit to open up. There we are. Lovely. 1, 2, 3. We've got 2 more 10-inch squares to put together. Then we'll put the 2 rows together. And here's another one. There we go. Quite clever actually. Right, so we'll put that like that. Put them all together. Sorry. And the bottom bit, making sure that doesn't shift a bit. I think that'll be alright. I'll just put that one in. Put that one in together. Just like that there. Turn it right. And then we'll go back to the sewing machine and do a nice 1/4 inch seam allowance. Take the pins out as you go. Oh, yeah. Swirl you round again. Pop open the seam. Never underestimate these little wee mini irons. They're as hot as you can get them. They're very hot. And they do the job really well. Like a wee travel iron, but they're absolutely amazing. Right. Last one. Then we'll put the 2 rows together. Join the seams up at the top and the bottom and sew down the side. 1/4 inch seam. In fact, this is the kind of quilt I could actually use to put up my bamboo up and for wall, like a wee hanging wall art. That's what I might do. I'm looking for something for this big wall. I'll show you just up here, back here. It's a nice big wall up here, and I would love something long and wide, just like I've got my nice wee pieces on my short walls over there. So I'm looking for something for the longer part. That might just do the job. Okie dokes, let's go back to the sewing machine and sew down the side. 1/4 inch. Oh, this is why I like to make sure I'm wearing long sleeves when I'm sewing. I'm terrible for getting jagged with the pins. Yeah. There we go. Pop the pins out. Another press, and then we'll put the two rows together. See how it looks, and then I'll carry on off camera. And once I've done all of that, we'll piece it all together and decide what backing to use for this lovely front facing. And I like to make my own binding as well, so I might try and rustle up leftover pieces of this fabric here and make my binding with that. Why not? Don't like to waste fabric. There we are. Yeah, that's our second piece done. Looking rather nice. So that's row 2. What I'll do is I'll get the first row, row 1, take that off just now, and fold it over onto the second, so the top part of the row 1 is facing downwards now. Line it all up. In fact, I'll move you back so you can get wider. Start from the beginning. Just take that wee bit off actually so I can line it up better. I got these lovely scissors. They're an old pair of Singer pair of scissors from a wee shop in Ireland, an Etsy shop. They're adorable, and they've aged very well, and they still cut very well. Absolutely love them. Wee pair of Singer scissors. Right, join up the 10-inch squares, pin in place. So you don't have to worry about all these wee bits, you just make sure that the 10-inch squares are lined up more than anything. There. Oh, because of that bit there. Right, yeah. There we go. Last one. Nope, that's it. There we go. Now what we want to do is go back to the sewing machine and sew straight on down here, right along, 1/4 inch seam allowance. There we go. I like the back stitch at the beginning and the end. I know it's all going to join up with binding and everything else, but still, just I like to make sure it stays put. I think I've got a wee summer cold starting. I've been sniffling away all morning. Just fixing the camera there. Slotting in nicely, these wee bits up at the top, that's good. The last wee bit coming up. There we go. Last wee bit. And a wee back stitch. This is the bit that I like. Looking good. Take it back to the iron board. Give it another wee press. And then I'll continue the rest. There we go. Oh, here she is. And a wee visit. No, careful, careful. Hot iron alert. Eh? You saying hello? Hello. That's a girl, good girl. There we are. Nearly there. Excuse me. Absolutely love making quilts. I find it very therapeutic, relaxing. Takes your mind off a lot of things. That's why I like to call it my happy place. Because all it is you, fabric, sewing machines, scissors, ragdolls. You comfy there? Eh? Because it's nice and warm, is it? Nice and warm? Eh? I'm going to have to move you, sweetheart. I'm sorry, I know. I know. Just last wee bit and then you can lie on it, okay? Lie on the wool mat even. No, baby, I've got a hot iron. Come on. Let's go. I know. I know. There we go. Last wee bit. Lovely. There we are. There we go. We've got there, it's nice and warm. Yeah. There. Okie dokie. So there we have it. I'll just pop it up onto the bigger. I'll stand up and show you it in its full glory. So there we have it. That's the 2 rows put together. So far, so good. There we go, and I'll continue that. Okie dokie. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I love making quilts, so come back and give us another visit. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and a wee like would be lovely. Okay, see you next time. Thank you. Bye.